Hello, time for a new video. Today we're looking at the game Magnus Carlsen, Luke McShane, and it's still the London Chess Classic here. McShane is from England, so it's normal that he plays in an English tournament. He's quite a bit lower rated than Magnus. Magnus is 2800 and he's used 2600, so should be a fairly easy game for Magnus, but let's see what happens. I think he's known as the Lucky Luke, like the cowboy, so he sometimes can do some swindling. So he's going for the King's Indian, and it's very interesting to see what does Magnus play against the King's Indian, because not many 2700 player plays the King's Indian. It's a very, very uncommon opening. Professional players, they like space advantage. That's why it gets here. Magnus is doing the main line here, and Luke is doing an unusual move here, as I'm sure you know the main line. Let's also maybe get some analysis going here. Main line is knight c6, of course, here, and then something like b4, knight e1, bishop b2, knight e2, something like that is the main line, but he's going for knight a6 instead. And Magnus does, which I think is one of the main lines, rook e1. It's also possible to do like h3 or bishop e3 and stuff. But I think this is exactly how I used to play if black does something random like knight here or knight here, then I also do this rook e1, bishop here, and then rook here, and then just wait and see. Often in this kind of position, black sometimes takes here also and play this structure, but now he does this instead. And of course now it's a threat to like take here and then take here, so it's time for white to play d5, and black does c5. Let's see here, there is some kind of a tactical line here. Maybe it's not in this variation. It's probably not in this variation, but there is some kind of variation where black can do something like this. And the idea would be to try to get white a doubled pawn here. Something, for example, this take. And now if he takes, then black gets in like this. Otherwise he gets a doubled pawn. So this is often, if black plays like this, it's often with the idea to play this knight before here. They might have analyzed this the night before, just to get make this double pawn, and if white like goes back, then he has time to do a5, and it's this. At least he blocks this a little bit. But the computer prefer Luke's move to play c5 and play this structure. It's sometimes known as the old Benoni. It can come like d5, c5, d5, e5, or something like that. And Magnus goes back here. There is just no. It's common to try to move around this one. White's plan is to play like this often. But it's, I don't know, it's solid position for black. So I think this kind of very closed position is quite hard to play actually. But a3, b4 is normal, because it just feels like black has this, but white doesn't have any real like the computer likes white has a space advantage, but it's just hard for white to get a plan. If white tries to do f4 himself in some way, black can always take and get some play. this bishop gets opened. So let's see. It can be interesting to see how Magnus handles this this structure, because he's the positional mastermind of our time. And I see that knight b5 here threatens this one. So yeah, f6 is normal, so you can defend with the queen. At least black cannot do this one right now, but of course he can do g5 and then that one maybe. But of course, if black plays here, of course it gives whites also squares. I saw something like a rook lift, which I have been like saying, don't rook lift, but if the position is this close, rook lifts is a bit more playable. So let's see what Magnus is doing here. He's moving around the knight to e3. Don't really know why, but whatever. Magnus is the positional player. I just know a little bit of tactics. Okay, so the computer didn't like that. I guess it's because let's use the random move. I guess it's because he wants to take with the knight here. The computer wants to take with knight here, so this knight c7 was not liked by the computer. But I can see also both for black and for white, this is like a waiting game, just moving around pieces, waiting for opportunity. It's also hard to play black if you don't know what to do. But black has invited this kind of game with his opening, so he should be more comfortable. But now he took like this. Interesting, he took with the rook. It was possible maybe to go like this, but I guess no, it's not so good because of d6. Let's see here. Yeah, this if black, so maybe instead of this, if black had done something like this, then so you could get a blockading knight here, then maybe this one would have been more interesting. But I see now that the computer wants to trade off his bad bishop, so I guess this is why the knight is on h6, to not allow this this trade here. So it's just, but knight c7 was not correct according to the computer, at least, because now white got, even if black got the file now, I guess, hard to say. Well, let's see what Magnus does. Maybe like f3 and here, and try to smoke out this rook, and maybe try to get his own rook to c6 or something, or maybe around with the knight there. Let's see how Magnus handles it. So he does this one, this kind of normal stuff to try to. Black has the c file now. You want to get the c file for yourself, and before white has time to maybe go here and maybe try to trade, or maybe try some knight. Maybe if it's white move, maybe knight c2, knight b4, and here would be something that white would like to do. So black starts counterplay at once, because yeah, his pieces is basically as good as they can be. Hold on 1 minute here, sorry. I'm doing some cooking, so I had to check on that. So f5 is logical because white is ready to move around and threaten here, so it's logical to try to open the position before white does his plan. Okay, so computer liked rook c3 a bit more. I don't really see the point. But of course here, it's when this comes, then yeah, it's not attacked, so it's fine to have it here. Okay, so he wants to develop it. Could also move the knight and maybe try to develop the bishop like that. That's a little bit weird. Queen, like it's quite obvious he wants to play like this, and Magnus put his queen in a pin here. It's quite weird. But the computer thinks it's okay. And now he moves. He should have gone there. I guess it was because he wanted to support the a5. Must have been because of that. Yeah, rook b7, that's just too passive. That's not gonna work against Magnus. Better would be this. Now this one cannot be kept, but black should try to maybe go for a counter attack here. Computer likes it for white. What about this? Yeah, it's not enough play apparently, but this rook b7 just looks way too passive. Computer, yeah, okay, Magnus is. He has been, this a5 was quite good to fixating this weakness. Maybe black should have taken it, maybe, I don't know. Okay, and Magnus has tactics here. Let's see what's... Ah, I see. So this knight h6 allowed a tactic. Luke probably missed that. The tactic is that he can take here, and if he would take back, then it's this one, and he's threatening mate and taking the rook. So this knight h6 was a blunder, even if the computer doesn't call it a blunder, but I think it's kind of blunder. But the computer thinks already it's bad for black, like, so it doesn't matter so much if he loses a pawn or not, because it was already bad. But I think, yeah, Luke must have probably missed that, I think. Okay, and he's getting impatient and sacrifices here. Computer doesn't think it's that bad. It likes h5 better. Try to not do that. Let's see what the point with this is. Okay, so the point is that he can get this pawn back. For example, here takes, and if it takes, then it's some problems here. And this, of course, now with this, this one is a dominating bishop here. There is like an old chess book where it says like this is they say that this bishop in the king's in, and it's the bad bishop because it's same, but it's also the good bishop. When it's here, it's defending the king, and if it gets out like this, it's like super strong, because white has no pawns to it cannot block this bishop with any pawn, so this bishop can do whatever it wants now when the white star bishop is done. So bad bishop both defend good pawns, and they are like the winning bishop. And it's same in the French, like the black light squared bishop is like the bad, but if you imagine he can get it around to e4 or something like that, it could be a monster. So so this would was interesting. So this is typical of King's Indian also. There will always be tactics. So even if white has played superior positional game here, there is always tactics in the end in this opening. But the computer thinks h4 kicking the bishop was correct for some reason. Don't really understand why. I see. This is the tactics. He can go down with the bishop and threaten both here and here. Sacrificing the rook back, but getting an attack here. Okay, and this is a beautiful move by Magnus. Knight c5, only winning move. That's excellent chess here. If he takes with a pawn, of course, like bishop here and then pawn here, or probably like this one first, and then you check and just win the rook. And if he takes with this one, then it's forced mate, of course. So excellent chess move here. Knight c5 can be taken by two pieces, but can't be taken by anyone. Okay, so now black made an inaccuracy here. He played rook g3. Better was, there were three moves that were a little bit better here. No, this is my analysis. He cannot take on d5 with either the pawn or the queen, but he could do rook b2. Then computer wants bishop g4, but this one looks better. Now it threatens mate here. Is the only move to not get checkmated, and here have to go back. Oh, this is beautiful. Here can't take it because of checkmate. And if he goes here, then here, and if here he can play like this, and white wins a piece. And that's beautiful play by Magnus, or by Stockfish, I mean. First he goes here, and then he goes here, and it can't be taken. So what if he would block here? Okay, it says white is winning, but it's not so clear for me, I guess. Yeah, it's not so clear for me, but for the computer it's winning. So he tried to go here instead. And now Magnus made a mistake here. He played knight e6. h5 was better, apparently. It's also hard to see why. Okay, I guess it's because he wants to have this square for his queen in this kind of variation. That's quite... And again, you can do this checkmating trick. It's a monster, this knight here. But h5 is quite hard to see that you need this retreat square for the for the queen, because now if he goes to d8, black can chase, and so he has to go for the queen trade here. This is apparently also winning, and it's again because this is a monster. So it looks black's best chance maybe to take here, but it doesn't work apparently. If you go here, then check here and win the bishop and go back, then you win. White wins a piece by force if black takes here. It has to play like this. And now he can block the rook here. So the blue rook is trapped. Okay, so he shouldn't have taken that bishop. Everything else was like plus 3.4, so that was a big blunder. Lost half the advantage taking there. But he thinks, yeah, he calculated this line that this was also winning. So apparently e4 is a big blunder here. Best try was g5 takes d7. Yeah. But this is just it's a technically losing position here for black, of course. But it's some work left to be done, but losing position. The reason why there is some chances here, it's because if they would trade the pawns, then it's a draw, but with careful play, white should win this. So let's see what happens here. Just take, then here. Yeah, now he might threat on d7, I think. It's just hard for black to stop d7 winning. It's the same, just a piece up. Yeah, very nice game by Magnus here.